The last position you want to be in if you are mining crypto is you just invested all this money into new hardware, and then all of a sudden the bull market ends over the course of a year or two, the bear market is hitting you in the face, and you are now losing money to electricity. You are no longer profiting. That is your worst case scenario, and that is a reality. Now, most of the time, as long as you don't have a crazy electric cost, you'll at least break even or make a couple dollars per graphic card. But that's still not good enough. We need to make more to survive the bear market. So I'm going to give you my tips and tricks from the last bear market and what I did and what I also plan to do in the upcoming bear market. Because a bear market is eventually going to come, whether you like it or not. And right now, you could throw together the most inefficient computer and you would just start mining and you will make money. That's not how it's going to work when the bear market hits. So here are my tips and tricks of surviving a bear market and lowering your electric cost. I do think it's important that you know how much electricity your rigs are actually using. I do personally use a lot of smart plugs that actually help me keep track of how many kilowatt hours I'm using and a lot of other data. Now, I haven't found a 240 volt smart plug and something that would work with the new PDU I ordered, so I'm actually switching it. So I'm going to be using the VU energy monitor, which is going to help me track the breaker itself and the electricity going through there. It won't be as specific to the rig anymore, but I'm okay with that, that's fine. But I personally find it very helpful to know the exact amount of electricity I'm using, and I do suggest you look into ways of being able to track it yourself. In the bear market, when numbers get so close that you're barely making over the electric cost, you really want to know, are you making money or losing money, and is there something you can do? Which is why I do suggest that you look into some way of actually tracking your kilowatt hours and the electricity that you use. I pay about 12.5 cents per kilowatt hour, and that's not terrible, that's not the best, but it's decent. Now, some people's can be really expensive, like 30 cents per kilowatt hour, and some people have it really cheap at like 7 cents or lower per kilowatt hour. Understanding the ways of getting around your electric costs and lowering the price is really important to surviving a bear market. Right now, you can't really lose any money because we are in a bull market, and no matter what you do, you're making money. But it's not going to be the same in a bear market, and you need to prepare for this. One way that I really encourage people to look into is what's called peak hours. Now, not everybody has peak hours as an option with their utility provider, but you should call and ask and learn about it. But what peak hours should do for you is if you only mine during what's called non-peak hours or off-peak hours, then your electric bill is going to be significantly cheaper. So for example, right now I'm paying about 12.5 cents per kilowatt hour. And if I mine during non-peak hours, I'll actually be paying about 7 cents per kilowatt hour. But during the day, your electric cost is actually going to go up during what they call peak hours. So my peak hours is actually around like 19 cents per kilowatt hour. I did personally use this method in the last bear market for a short period of time. Is this preferable? No. I mean, you never want to have to turn your miners off, especially during the day, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Another thing you should look into is solar or any other form of earning your own energy. Now, this isn't always a viable option for everybody. I am preparing to actually get solar myself. It's a strategy I would like to use. One thing that you need to know about going into any kind of solar or getting your own kind of energy, avoid batteries at all costs. You don't want batteries. Every time you get batteries, it's going to ruin any ROI that you make or break-even time. Batteries are your biggest enemy. Look into going into grid tie systems. What it means is whatever energy you collect, you can send it back to the utility grid, and then they'll pay you back for the energy you sent them. When I first started learning about solar, I'll be honest, I was surprised about how little it actually collected. Like, it collects enough, don't get me wrong, but it's not like going to power everything for you. Personally, what I'm looking for it to do is to power my rigs during the day. Now, I was saying to not get batteries, though I am personally going to get one battery, and here is why. My utility company will not let me use peak hours if I do a grid tie system. So to get around this, I'm actually going to get a single battery, and it's not meant to survive through the whole night or anything. My goal with the battery is that as I'm collecting energy, it holds it for just enough time that the mining rigs can use it. So that way, my mining rigs will really only be using the solar during the day. And as the sunlight kind of goes away and it's not collecting any energy, the battery, as it starts getting low, is going to say, hey, I'm not getting any more energy, and it's going to switch back to getting energy from the grid. So if everything works out for me, my end goal is to use peak hours at night, and then during the day, mine using solar. But this is something you need to look into and understand that the break-even time on solar is a long time. Right now, I'm not looking to do a big setup. I'm just trying to save a little bit on electricity, not pay for everything. So I think I'm doing about like 12 solar panels at 420 watts. And I think the break-even time I came to, I have the number somewhere, was like 12 to 14 years. If I did a grid tie system, it actually would have been a shorter break-even time for the solar panels. I think the numbers were like 8 to 9 years, so you can see that a single battery already significantly added a lot of years to my break-even time. And just so you know too, I was doing my break-even time with 2 batteries. Even though I'm getting 1, I'm expecting that in the lifespan of the solar panels, I will have to buy 2 batteries. Batteries just don't last as long as you would think. Now I want to talk about power supplies and why efficiency really matters, especially in a bear market when these pennies really matter. Because every penny you save during a bear market per kilowatt hour is significant. Let's just say your power supply has 1000 watts and you just stack a bunch of graphic cards on there and fill that 1000 watts. I don't understand the whole science behind it, but just know that because you're maxing out that 1000 watts, your power supply is working harder and it's actually using more electricity to get these graphic cards powered than if you used, let's say, half of the power supply's power. If you only use 50 to 80% of what your power supply can handle, it's just going to be more efficient and it's going to save you money in the long run. Out of everything that I talk about today, this is absolutely the most important, and I hope that this is the one thing that you really listen to me about. A lot of people when they first start mining are literally throwing their money away by not overclocking properly and undervolting. This is actually an old server that I run with a 1070 on it. I use it majorly for my Plex server. But you can see right here on MSI Afterburner that I have my graphic card set to only have a power limit of 80%. So I only want it to use 80% of the power that it's capable of. I don't want it going over. You gotta realize most of these graphic cards are made for gaming, and we're not gaming. We only need certain parts of the graphic card to be doing certain kind of computing. So we can achieve basically the same results with 20 to 40% less power. If you are not undervolting, all you are doing is getting the same hash rate that I'm getting, but spending more money on electricity. So please undervolt. And if you want to know how much should you undervolt your graphic card by, each graphic card is special. I can't just give you a rounded number, but if you Google it, you're going to find the answer. There's plenty of ways to survive in a bear market. You could stake more, that way you don't really have electricity cost. Personally, I'm about to start using compassmining.io. I'm not sponsored. You should sponsor me though, Compass Mining. They allow you to buy an ASIC miner and you own it. They send it to a facility and they'll host it for you. I'll show you. They have plenty of options available for ASIC miners. And you can see, you can host it in facilities. So you can see right here, this one will host it for you at nearly 6 cents per kilowatt hour, which is amazing. And even during a bear market, you're going to be doing fine at that rate. I am not sponsored by Compass Mining, but you guys should totally sponsor me. I think you guys are cool. Anyways, but you gotta realize that the last bear market, I really did this more as a hobby than anything else, and I didn't really care if I lost money or not. Now, I found plenty of ways to not lose money, but it was more experimentation and me just having fun. But I do plan on taking this much more seriously this time around, and Compass Mining is something I'm personally looking into pretty heavily. But do remember this, in a bull market you make money. In a bear market, for those who stay, you make wealth. A bear market will come, but it is so worth it if you can stick through it. But if you're interested in learning more about crypto mining, please join my Discord server. I'm going to have the link down below. Down below, I also have referral links that if you're interested, please use them. They help support me in this channel. And they help you as well, as it gives you some free money. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I need it.